Mikel Elam, and I'm an artist, visual artist. And I think the first thing is I ask myself a lot of questions. Um, and I answer them with possibly visual images. Um, when I was younger, I created images that were a lot more sort of um, a different kind of abstraction. I tried to basically think about color a lot and texture. Then at a certain point, I wanted to pay homage to people of color, like the skin tones and the richness of our history. And the only way that I could do that is to start to put figurative imagery into my work. But I also wanted to make sure that the imagery had like melanin in the skin tones. And so out of that comes a bit of interest in history. So I've read a lot, and I hope to read a lot more about just who we are as people. I mean, it starts in, obviously a lot of our history is from slavery on as far as African Americans are concerned. But we have a rich history that goes all the way back to Africa. I am a contemporary artist, so I make artwork in now 21st century. And so out of that, I wanted to do contemporary, use contemporary ideas to express both history and moving into the future. So I like to call it Afrofuturism, because that sort of speaks about our past, which is rich and has a lot of, sort of forward-thinking ideas, moving through this period that was pretty bad for us, slavery, and then moving forward into what we have now become, and that is a progressive society. So I hope my work reflects that. So, I grew up in Philadelphia, was born and raised here. My father, who passed away when I was 8 years old, was the first person who taught me to draw. He was an aspiring engineer, and unfortunately had a heart attack. But my fondest memories was just sitting on his lap and watching him draw, and then him showing me how to draw. So then I ended up in school, and one day the teacher started to recognize that maybe I was drawing a little bit better than everyone else. So I'm going to give all props to my father for that, because I think he sort of taught me things that made me seem a little bit more advanced. So as I went through high school, okay. As I went through high school, I was always in, the advanced art programs. And then it was evident that I was going to go to college and probably art school. So I prepared a portfolio, and I got into several schools. And the one that I could afford, because they gave me the best package, was the Philadelphia College of Art, which is now University of the Arts. I finished there with a BFA in painting, and from there I ended up going to the School of the Visual Arts to work and to get my master's, which I never finished. I got to New York, and it was way too expensive. But the big deal that came out of that was I was in New York, and I got to meet a lot of people, and out of that came this position which changed my life, and that was working for the legendary jazz musician Miles Davis. That took me all over the world, and in that I learned he had this great appreciation for making artwork, and he drew and he painted every day. I had pretty much decided that I didn't want to be a poor artist, and that I had to find something else to do, and that was all kind of a dreamland kind of thing. But Miles actually brought me back to wanting to make art, because here was this person who obviously was already famous for what he did, was now drawing and painting every day and very excited about it. So he helped me to build a new body of work just by his excitement. And from that came some new opportunities. So I meet this guy named Kenny White. He's like an incredible person, and right away I hit it off with him because he has this great personality. And he tells me that he's having this show at the City Arts Salon that he invited me to show in about now 10 years ago. And so I didn't know what to expect, but I'll tell you one thing. I'm over the idea that galleries mean everything to artists. That was what I was taught in school. That was what I was taught to believe was where all the power is. But as I started to realize after several gallery interactions, I realized that I would prefer to show my work where it's appreciated most, where people will get to know who I am, and where I'm not told what to paint or draw, because what happens in the gallery system is that they like one or two of your paintings, and then they want you to make the exact same thing over and over because it's all about money and sales. Whereas something like the City Arts is real art appreciators who want to see your original ideas, and they want you to continue to create original work. They want to see you grow, they want to see your ideas, they want to see what you think about it. When I showed there, it was one of the best moments of my life. I remember talking to people all night long about my art and its content and what it meant. And at the end of the day, that's what's fulfilling to me, is to know that the images that I've created were images that left some sort of impact on people. Okay, so now, many years have passed. I've now been making art for most of my life. I make it now without any consideration to selling it, although it would be very nice to have a sale here and there. The idea is that I'm making it just for me because I love the idea of art in our society. Maybe it sounds like a little bit hokey, but I think that it's so important, and each day that we live, people are relegating it to a secondary or third place in existence because it's been replaced with technology and this bombardment of imagery that means nothing to people. So I personally feel that moving into the future, I would like to just make art until I'm no longer here. Because I think even if I pass on and I never see any really great success with it, I will know that I left something that meant a lot to me, which tells my story.